to apologize for Hillary not being here, but I'm doing my best to represent her.
Don't do violence. I love Hillary, so it's fine.
Fantastic. I think everybody does. I was just wanting to refer to what one of the ladies said on the, just now, in regards to a first-time perpetrator, and somebody that perpetually gets into a cycle of violence. I'm using myself as an example. I mean, I was in a relationship, and this is really close to home. I'm just sharing personally because I feel that this is the platform that we should do it on. And my partner was violent to me first, you know, and like it was quite bad. I landed on the floor, and it was something like totally shocking to me because I was just like, how does a woman behave like that, you know? But what happened afterwards is that it started a violent cycle between us. You know, so at the end of the day, the way I was raised, for me to ever lift up a hand to another woman, or to anybody actually, my parents would come down from heaven and slap me silly. But, and I understand that, and I'm thankful that I could be at a place where I could share like this and be healing myself through the process. I mean, I almost died, you know, with my arm. You know, got cut up. It's actually it's a miracle that I'm alive because it's through my main artery 3 times across, and I've still got a perfectly fine arm. But there's so many men and women that aren't alive to tell the story today, and that's the sad thing that I wanted to say. That like in terms of community engagement, what the lady said is it touched me because it touches home so much, because you realize that like if we had a system that actually understands that as soon as this happens, we've got to work on it before it actually gets to a point where it becomes, no one wants to, I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to be with a woman to beat her up. You're there because of affinity. You find her beautiful, you want to tell her, you have such a great time, you get to know each other. Then all these other ills that came in, whether you were abused when you were young and or whatever the case, this is what floods into the relationships at that point, and it becomes a violent thing. So for me, what I just want to say in this room is because we're all here to make these solutions. So for me, it's just like we need to be welcoming, like the gentleman just said, in terms of guys. How do we, where do I go when I've been pushed on the floor by my lady? I just let myself, I don't want to tell my family, I don't even want to tell my brother. You know, that's the honest truth. But at the end of the day, if I was in a place where I could speak to somebody at that point already and help my lady understand that you don't become violent also in that situation. We're supposed to help each other. I'm not saying that I was probably wrong, that's why she pushed me. You know, but there was a healing that needed to happen after that. And what did it become instead? It became a festa of violence, abuse, to the point where we couldn't even be together. And I feel that that's such a sad thing. I was on ENCA for ACT Africa in a men's forum talking about how do we heal a broken society. And one of the gentlemen in that room was a perpetrator, like myself. You know, that I had to go to therapy for a year to get over the fact that I never want to put my hands on a lady ever again in my life. But this gentleman was abusing his wife perpetually, you know, and it was a cycle of alcohol. Every time he drank, his wife ends up beaten up. Now, he wakes up in the morning, oh, sweetie, I love you. It's like nothing ever happened, you know, and this is also where I feel the responsibility becomes both a lady's and a man's responsibility, because this woman eventually woke up one morning and she knew that her husband's going to be so happy and lovey-dovey after beating her up again. And she sat with him and she's like, baby, what's going to happen here? Is this what our lives are going to be? You need help. You need help. And since then, that man, it's been a 6-year journey for him, and they're more in love than they've ever been in their lives. But the sad thing is, we see so many situations like that where there's no help, there's no reasoning, there's no one coming to a point where we realize, guys, are we working on this for each other? How do we love each other? You're going to leave somebody that you love beating them up, but at the end of the day, both of you need to heal at the end of the day. And I think healing together is what makes a stronger bond in the end. Yeah. You know, and they now are stand-up people in society. And you know, like another thing that was said here is a woman, you know, beats up a man or whatever the violent situation is that like once again, I'm just going back to the thing. I don't want to take too long. It's just like that safe space. I mean, that woman, I take my hat off. I bow down and kiss her feet at the end of the day, because why? She was in a situation where she was brave enough to understand that I could be a solution here. You know? And yes, she should have got locked up or whatever, but imagine when the heart that she has for her husband, to see him become the man that she can know he can be. And I think that's I think God's eyes is how we need to view some of these situations at the end of the day, because it allows us to break it down. Yes, you should call the police when your husband's abusing you, but it doesn't mean that you don't want to give him the help that he needs. That shouldn't just be our police force they've got a lot to deal with. But I think even when he gets locked up for abuse at home, who's going in there afterwards to go talk to the man and give him the help that he needs, is what I'm trying to get at the end of the day. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much for your great speech.